my name's Pendlebury and I'm the Director of Local Transport at the Department for Transport. The biggest challenge that faces the government really is still about economic growth, but that creates lots of opportunities for the science and engineering and technical community, because there are opportunities for new industries to develop, for new ideas and new products to come on that will help generate growth and jobs, but at the same time really build on the amazing kind of scientific and engineering expertise that we have in the country. So I think, aligning their work with the government's growth agenda is hugely important. I think the second thing still is around the environmental agenda, although it's not quite the sort of front of mind issue that it was maybe a few years ago. The problems have not gone away. They're getting worse rather than better. And so I think that's an area where we still need huge benefits or huge involvement from the scientific community. CSaP, provides a fantastic service, and there are three ways, I think, within which they do that. The first is just this point about access. It's a great kind of benefit to me to have access to some of the finest kind of academic minds in the country, but just as important, it gives me the opportunity to explain to senior academics in Cambridge and elsewhere exactly about how the policy making process works in government, which will help them to improve their engagement with senior civil servants and politicians. I think the second thing that CSaP does is it helps us to think through how you deal with complexity in policy issues, because the sorts of issues that I deal with and many other civil servants are massively complicated. They have multiple variables and multiple stakeholders, and it's really, really helpful to have CSaP with its broad range of access to academia sort of helping us to think of new ways in which we manage that complexity. And I think the third thing, just for me personally, is that it's a fantastic development opportunity and hugely enjoyable. Some of it's very challenging because it's an exhausting process, and you're spending time in quite short chunks with some of the most eminent scientists and social scientists in the country. So you really have to be on your toes at all times. And I do remember spending a really quite scary time with a very eminent chemical engineer who started off by testing my knowledge of some of the basics of my kind of schoolboy chemistry. And after about 30 seconds, I was starting to struggle. But in the end, actually, he came down to London to meet some of my staff. And I think he was amazingly impressed about the insights that even some quite junior staff working in government had about some of his ideas, and indeed were actually able to demonstrate where he was getting things wrong on occasions. And I think that sort of fertile exchange is really beneficial. If you want to just become a really eminent expert specialist in your own field of research, then that's great, do that. But if actually, as I think many young people do want to do, which is to bring their expertise to bear on issues of great public interest and that are of benefit to society and individuals, then actually having access to how we develop our policies and ideas and how we actually seek to engage the public in what we want to do is hugely important for them too. And I actually think it's one of the things almost that CSaP could do more of, is actually engaging some of the younger kind of research community with Whitehall, because we're quite open to taking people in, and we have done so. And I personally find it very stimulating talking to some of the younger people as well, and giving them some insights and getting some feedback from them about what great inspiring things some of them are working on.